15 points of power in the silence. So when you are forced, when you're losing your voice, this is for everyone, whoever lost their voice, maybe they got different reactions due to sickness, inflammation, or they just for a while lost their voice and they could not easily express themselves in the world. For those of you who had that experience, here's what I discovered. And I discovered first 15 points of power that you can draw from the silence. But there is more, and there is still with me. I am still in the process of it, and how I access it. I access it through a powerful, actually, teaching of Arnold Mindell and process-oriented psychology. Arnold Mindell with his wife, Amy, doing it for several, I don't know how many years, but within workshops and also other teachers who are teaching that, I had profound discoveries, and it helped a lot of my work with individually, with myself, with other people, with groups. Also, I took a numbers of therapy myself, a lot of sessions. And if I would ever recommend someone a therapy, I would definitely recommend this kind of sessions. So how to access it for yourself. So if you have anything, whether it's a sickness, whether it's something challenging in your life, we always tend to go opposite directions. So for example, if I lost my voice, I want to communicate, I want to take something, I want to get rid of the symptom, basically. I want everything will be to be fine. But if you instead go into the opposite direction and follow the process of what is happening to you. So I personify all the time when I have something like that. You can call it going into another sub-personality of yours, maybe alter ego, maybe there are many more sub-personalities. But this one that is troubling you mostly is the one that has a treasure for you, or many treasures, as it turned out for me. So if that will ever happen to you, I recommend to take another road, the one that we usually don't want to go. So directly into the symptom. And there is a usually very powerful question that I suggest if someone does it for the very first time. You can write it on the wall. Who feels comfortable going through that you're going, and you can really apply to your life situation, like anything, considering health, money. So long time ago, for example, I was processing it with my therapist, and I was processing the money, and he asked me that question: who would feel happy, who would be happy, who is that person that is so happy having no money? And is doing fine, and life is great, who that would be, right? So basically you turn it like that. So I asked that question few days ago when I lost my voice completely. I could not work. I had troubles to go to the store, and I could not even say thank you or Dankeschön in German, because I live in Germany. So I went into that process and question I asked myself. And if you are following your lucid dreaming, so your vision, and you are easily accessing states of consciousness where you have instant access to your intuitive mind, soul, however you call it, subconscious mind, unconscious, collective, anything, whatever you call it. And you might find it very easy if you do practice that. So right after you ask yourself this question, you may be drawn already and personify that energy or quality that feels good about what's happening. So your usual in process work, they call it primary process, in your usual self, you just want to be fine. But in your secondary, this unconscious process, there is somebody that feels good about that situation that is happening to you. So whether it's loss, whether it's sickness, anything you call it. Today we work with silence. So I went into that process myself. And right after I asked this question, incredible God is like being showed up and revealed me straight away like 15 secrets. What's there? What kind of power? And told me, you're not using your voice right. Indeed, I talk too much. I didn't talk too much long years. I was really shy, but then of course with progress, with studies, with everything that I wanted to express to the world, I started to talk and talk and talk, and I was impressed how long I can talk. Wow, that was an achievement for somebody who didn't talk almost at all. And then she said, it's not exactly so that we didn't have a certain quality. It's you are accessing another level for it. So it's improving your way of expressing yourself in the world. And a friend of mine that is a psychic, that time I wrote her about it, that I lost my voice, I cannot make an appointment now, and we cannot record anything. And she told me, oh, that's obvious for me. Your voice are going into another level. I said, that is interesting one. As soon as I will have a chance, of course, I get into the silence and see what the silence telling me. So I have a notes for you here, and this is it. So first, power of that, let's call it goddess of the silence. She just observes. She's quiet. She likes it, obviously. And she observes what's happening around her. So she has perfect access to it all, to all the knowledge. So, of course, I wanted to follow and inquire her a little bit more. Show me more. And the second one, she showed me how her energy works. Like, she's not losing unnecessarily energy, not dispersing her energy by empty talking, by using empty words to other people. She is just knowing how much to give away and how much to stay, how much it stays with herself. So that's power number 2. The first is observing. Perfect observer of the world, or maybe the universe. Number 3, since she knows how to hold her energy, not disperse it, she's also a master of gathering energy. So she's regenerating, she is absorbing enough energy in the silence. The silence is very feeding quality. Number 4, nobody knows her thoughts because she's not talking. So nobody knows what is actually going on in her mind. And she shows me the trick. People think they know because they perceive through their perception. So we only can perceive through our perception, and none of us, of course, is objective. But the power in being quiet is that nobody knows. We can keep the secret, the mystery of what we want until our ideas will be fully coming to the fruition. So we keep it to gather energy, we keep it for ourselves as long as it's possible. We don't disperse by talking about it. We have this power of keeping our secret intact. Number 5, it is enough to just give a gesture, smile, look, in order to communicate. I did not believe that power. So later on, I went to the store and I decided to use a gift card that I had it for a few months. I didn't know if that's going to work even. And I bought some stuff and I could not say even thank you or danke, nothing. So I smiled and the card wasn't working. So I smiled again and I shrugged my shoulders a little bit, just a little bit. And I waited, and there were 3 cashiers, and one was running for another. They were comforting me. I didn't say anything. They were really comforting. And in German country, they spoke to me in English. So that is amazing. And I said, wow, that must be the power of the silence. Is it possible that when you are quiet, you are vibrating, emanating, however you call that, the language you are feeling comfortable to talk with other people? Is that possible? Okay, but before that, before I went, I was still sitting with my goddess of the silence and inquiring more. So that was number 5. She is communicating by gesture, by look. Number 6, she has strong borders with not talking. She knows exactly how to keep her borders intact because she's not responding with the words. So basically, that creates a space for other to react. She's not much reacting goddess. She's emanating. Her energy is very, very subtle, very delicate and limitless in a sense. And she never throws her words like for nothing. She's always very careful what she wants to give, portray, show, and how. Number 7, she's aware of disturbances in energy, like shadows, like something, and she transforms that in the silence. So here is the power of manifesting, creating your reality. When you talk about problems, when you talk about gossiping about other people, you are directly connecting with their atmosphere. You're taking on their vibration on yourself. So you are not getting closer to what you want to achieve because you're talking about the problems instead of solving, focusing on the solutions. And the power of this silence is to directly in the silence, in the working on the subtle plane of not talking, transforming the negative energies. Well, I call it negative. They are not really negative. They are just traveling energies, and she works in that peace to turn them, to look at them, and doing the right thing. Almost by not doing, we will get to that. That's also a power. Number 8, she is busy maintaining that core of peace. Final, this core, this silence within herself. It felt like a little spot within our body, somewhere there, and probably every one of you would discover for you where that is. So everybody may have it somewhere different. And she keeps that intact. She's just emanating that outside in every possible direction, keeping a perfect balance. But that turns into another power. So that's number 9. This gives enormous distance, a healthy distance, non-attachment in a sense, and wider perspective to what is happening in the world. And she can make a decision from there because she's aware of all these things that are outside. She's not ignoring them. She is aware of them. But she has a better perspective because she's in a perfect distance to it. As much as I thought about myself before that I have that distance within me and I can grab it sooner or later, I know how to work with it to have an emotional, mental distance. And I'm quicker with years with catching that spot of balance with myself. She showed me that there is another level. There is absolutely another level to maintaining that daily. And that gives enormous clarity where to put your energy into. You can just make a better choice with it in your life. The next one comes from it, of course. It's number 10, I suppose, or already 11, if I didn't make a mistake. But there is one is just coming into another, so they are very, very much connected one to another. So this is this spreading in all the direction, and that comes into another, because if you are emanating, your people around you are picking up your vibe, so they are catching it. That's number 10. That comes into 11. Authority. Past 2 years we started to have some challenges with that particular word, when the authorities in our world started to crash more and more. People started to find this authority within themselves, follow their own intuitive mind. And this is exactly that power. She has authority within herself. So because she has that peace, balance, perspective, limitless emanation of these qualities in every direction, she also has a perfect authority to always self-knowing. That's another power, by the way. But this subtle emanation plus all of those ingredients, that is just building up a little bit more and more power to it. Another one, 12. So there is in this balance, in this expansion, in this everything, wisdom not gathered from gathering information, but from knowing knowledge. Maybe some call it ancient knowledge, direct access to the wisdom of some call it Akasha records. This is this concept of oneness. We are all connected, that in our body, in our DNA, we have memories of what happened on Earth millions of years ago. It's in our coding, it's on our DNA. So this is the power, shows if you access that silence within yourself, that spot, you have the direct access to it all. That's an amazing one, at least for me. Please let me know how is it for you. I'm very, very curious, because if you had this kind of process, there's more of us. So I will be just thankful to have this even more, not only me, but all of us. We can have this more and more of richness of our experience and how we perceive this world and us, and are in a relation one to another. So the next one, there is this saying, of course, be silent and you will know, right? So that's this power. 13, 12, 14, 13, that was 13, now 14, 14th power of the silence, lucid dreaming. So with all these qualities, it gives you enormous clarity when you dream lucidly. So you are wide awake. Some call it channeling, some call it you have a vision, or so on. If you are focusing, if you're able to follow, if you practice, then you have a direct access, and there is this strong quality of the silence within it. Next one. Oh, that's a big one. Another big one is the power of letting go. So if you see a conflict, you don't have a voice to talk to the people, to manage their conflict. The only thing you can do is subtle emanate your peace, your quietness, your silence. And that has enormous power on people because they get peaceful. And it is enormous power to watch that happening, actually. How? By not talking, not interfering, not acting out in the world, we are bringing our presence into the room, into the situation, and people get better and they find solutions, and you didn't even say anything. You just were there. That is like I was wowing to my presence of the silence that I had impression was going with me through this time. So that's number 15. Letting go also means here you're not engaging. You are very careful with what you are engaging. You are focusing on emanating peace. And that peace solves a lot. It is like a key to the door, so people can manage. In this quality, people can operate more easier, better, more constructively in the world, other people. So if you maintain that peace, you meditate, you are having points of silence, it's very likely you are influencing other people, influencing peace. And there was a lot of research about it, about meditating for the world, meditating for the groups of people that were sick. And a lot of those groups recovered faster than the other group that nobody was praying for, nobody was sending them good vibes, and so on. So such is enormous power of that goddess. And I have the 16th one that came to me exactly the moment I was recording this video in a Polish version. And this is invisibility. So the goddess of silence is invisible, and she decides, or he, when, to whom become present. And you see, if that would be an enemy, the most powerful enemy is the one that is not visible. You don't know who that is. The most control, the most influence you have when you are almost anonymous, when you are not seen, when you can act and nobody knows about you. That is, some say, like in the politics, a gray eminence or somebody like that, because this person is protected from hate, from, it's never president, right? It's protected in a way from other people's negative thoughts, wrong wishings, and so on. So it is perfectly protected because it's invisible, and it has perfect freedom of acting in the world because it's also invisible. So that is amazing one. In tarot cards, it reminds me of the Priestess, because Priestess is working on the subtle plane, and she's acting by not acting, and the acting is like the end process, it's more like a result. These are those moments when you actually feeling like it happens through you. So when I came to Germany, I was burnt out. I didn't want to teach dance anymore. And I didn't want to create another class, and the structure, the mathematical structure of it, like this has to happen first, then this, then so on. I didn't feel like doing it, but I was asked to teach. So I went with intention to the class. Please, some source of this universe, teach through me. And the magic happened. I heard the music and I started to teach spontaneously, improvising, not exactly knowing. Of course, my body knew. Of course, I was trained, prepared, but I took it a little bit different road. And these classes were one of the most inspiring, most beautiful classes. So these are giving you the feeling that it's happening through you. You don't do it. Something is doing it through you, and you just present. So the most you can do is to show up, and then you let this force to act through you. That's what it reminds me. So these are all the powers for now. It may be more, I don't know, but I am still in the process. It's my second day of recovery after not having a voice. And if you do have a similar process, please write me about it. I want to know. I would love to know that there is more people who are having that great access by working on yourself alone, not necessarily all the time rushing to the workshops about it. I mean, the certain training and schooling is necessary, but then people need to trust themselves. So if you do go out in the world and you do not see in your own mirror those lights, sparks within yourself, go into quietness, because there is that life, that light the silence offers you, because the number 2 probably it was this gathering of life force, gathering of energy, knowing how to receive, how to be that energy, that you have enough. The goddess of, I personified, remember, of that being is always full, is satisfied, is always has, because it's expounding and emanating very subtle and delicately, but that's its power. All right, so this is it for today. And if you would like to read some of my books, most of them are published on Amazon. You can get it, but also other, wherever you are, Apple Store, Thalia if you are in Germany, wherever you are in this world. And the first book, Oracle, from the Oracle series, is everywhere by now. I do not know where possibly can be, but it's through a great distributor. So the access is all over the world at this moment. And the numbers of books are 9 in the series of the Oracle. So there you can actually have more about that internal experiences and putting communication between what is happening in reality and what is happening in your dreamland when you dream, when you have a vision, and how one relates to another and how it can assist you in your life. What does it mean? So no, you are not crazy just because you hear other voices, subpersonalities, immortal creatures in your head. You are not crazy. With this note, I'm wishing you a wonderful day, whatever you are, or evening, or a night. And I'm looking forward to your profound thoughts, comments on it. Have a great one. Bye-bye.